Well, here we go. Deck 78.
Hey, this is Mark A. Altman. We're back at Deck 78. Who's with me here? Daren Dochterman. I see you over there, and he's pouring down a drink.
I was pouring a drink. Sorry.
Across the bar. Oh, he's coming over here. Come have a seat, Ashley Miller.
Sit down. Howdy-ho. Wait a minute. You're not Ashley.
Oh, sorry. I was Mr. Hanky.
Mr. Hanky.
You were hanging out backstage with our next guest, Jeremy Renner, who you had the opportunity to sit down with at a recent GalaxyCon in San Jose, one of their signature shows. And of course,
thank goodness you didn't go skiing with him.
So great, because of course you introduced Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye to the world and Thor.
Yeah, you know what? It was a real pleasure to sit down with him for an hour and have that conversation, and not just because of just sort of like the cognitive weirdness of like, hey, so anyway, we're sitting on the stage in part because one Sunday afternoon on a whim, it was just it's always interesting to me when we are able to speak to actors who have had life experiences that they have processed in a way that they want to make meaningful to other people. And, I think about interviews we've had with Tony Todd or Richard Dreyfuss, the people who really, they want to talk about real stuff. They want to go to real places in the conversation and not just kind of talk about, and then I worked on this and I worked on that and I did this and I did that.
They don't want to just talk shop.
Yeah, exactly. Talking shop is kind of boring. And you know what? Jeremy Renner he turns out to be he's a guy. Like he didn't, fall out of Juilliard and spend like his whole life, on stage or in front of a camera, having a career. Like he was a real guy who had a real life. He's very blue collar. Like you can imagine yourself sitting down, having a beer with him and just talking about normal crap. Except he's got a very particular perspective on life because of some bad crap that happened to him. And he talks about it, pretty bravely and pretty honestly in this interview. I think it's worth it, whether you're a fan of Hawkeye or the MCU or not. Just to listen.
Or the Hurt Locker. He's so great,
Hurt Locker. My God. Yeah, we talk about the Hurt Locker in this interview. We talk about a lot of stuff, and it's worth it whether you're fans of that stuff or not. Just as a human being, I think it's worth it to listen to what this guy has to say.
Well, I loved him on MASH.
I love the way that you also talk about how these experiences we have parallel each other. So like, your story of creating, Hawkeye or bringing Hawkeye to the movies and Thor is something that he doesn't necessarily, his experience is very different than the experience you had, right? So it's like your stories are meeting each other and he's, understanding like, oh, this is how this came to be, which is very different from what his perspective would be. So we have these parallel experiences as people, who create movies and television with the talent because they're just not privy to what's going on sort of behind the curtain in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah. It's the oldest story in Hollywood in a way. It's like it's everybody's career is a near miss. You know what I mean? It's just, and it just the sheer number of stacking coincidences that make it possible for you to do anything in this business, whether it's to make a movie, be in a movie, write anything, get a credit, doesn't matter. We're all sort of in this place where the fact that we get to do it at all is a little bit of a miracle. And I think, that for all three of us, I think that we've experienced that, just the sheer number of things that had to go right to get us in a place where we could do the thing that we love is pretty insane. And there was definitely a bit of that on stage in the conversation that I had with Jeremy.
Well, the other thing that's great about this magnificent interview is it proved that the parents could leave the kid at home and he wouldn't destroy the house. Ashley does such a remarkable job with this interview. It's terrific. I think you'll be thrilled and delighted. He delivers an interview that only he could. And we're about to share it with you. So stay tuned. After these brief commercial messages, we'll be joined by Jeremy Renner. And then we'll be back after the interview with a few closing thoughts. So stay tuned.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Love espresso, drip coffee, and cold brew? With the Ninja Luxe Cafe, if you can crave it, you can brew it. Espresso, balanced. Drip coffee, rich. Cold brew in a flash. With Barista Assist technology, you brew with no stress and no guesswork and make perfect silky microfoam hands-free from dairy or plant-based milks. Shop the Ninja Luxe Cafe at ninjakitchen.com.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love, starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
And it has been given to me the incredible honor of bringing our next guest to the stage and have a conversation that I think will be pretty great, pretty illuminating, and pretty cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this guy. He was in a couple of things that you might have seen, like Thor, the Avengers, The Hurt Locker. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jeremy Renner. Welcome.
Hey guys, what's happening? San Jose. What do you say?
How crazy is this?
Yeah. It's just, this is like my home area, man. It's just kind of cool to be back in this area.
Yeah.
Haven't been to San Jose in a while. Been a minute. I've been preoccupied with a few things, like walking again, and
figuring that out again.
Yeah, it's good to be here, though, man. This is awesome. It's a great crowd. You guys look great. You guys having fun? It's a fun con here. I love it.
So, there's got to be a little bit of cognitive dissonance. Like, you show up to a convention like this, you've got people who are here to see you for anything and everything, right? It's like, did you watch The Sopranos? Remember, Christopher Moltisanti was really into film. He wanted to be a screenwriter. He worshipped Scorsese, and he goes to a premiere of like a fictional Scorsese movie. And, he's standing outside, he's waiting, and Scorsese shows up, and he yells from the back, "Kundun, I liked it." Have you ever had that moment at one of these cons where somebody comes up and hits you with something that's just, it's the last thing that you expect?
Yeah, of course. There's always, this is kind of my home area, too, so there's a lot of people from Modesto that came through, and there's, and so there's like a lot, I got someone show me like a ticket stub to like a play I did, or like something random back in like the early 90s and just random things like that. It's always great, man. It's a great reminder of things that you kind of done in your life, and I don't know, that value or not, but still, it's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, what's the thing that people come up and talk to you about that makes you happiest? What do you like to hear from them when they come to see you?
For personally, it's, there's a lot of stuff about the book and people that to share the narrative with people. And there's some people that, are going through real struggles. Yeah. And then there's a lot of people out there that have real obstacles in their life. And to have the narrative of what happened to me a couple years ago help them, I find that to be really rewarding. And so that personally is really interesting. But of course, most of everything else, I'm, Hawkeye, and then all the other random jobs I've done. I'm almost an entertainer. So it's nice to have entertained people continually, even like when I was dead. I was still entertaining people.
Yeah, there was suspense, there was
tension. That's the thing, because I do a job and I let it go. But those things there's a wake left behind of those things. And it's hard to quantify that. And then the reach of that, especially like in the Marvel universe, right? There's a giant reach for those kind of movies. And, all around the world, the ripple effect of that is still continuing to happen. And I tend to forget that because I've moved on. I've grown out of my costume. I don't know if I can fit in it as well. We'll see. I'll try to put it back on one day.
Yeah, you see, don't threaten them with a good time.
That's right.
Let's, if you don't mind, can we talk a little bit about your struggle, about what happened to you, about the book that you
Sure, yeah, sure.
So it's really quite extraordinary. I pulled a few quotes that hit me, and some of it is edited down just a little bit, but I want to just kind of go through them so that you guys can kind of hear what I heard and what I reacted to.
Yeah, there's Katie's here too, so,
Oh, yeah. It's none of that stuff. It's none of the fun stuff. You said, my body was now a separate entity, a roommate, if you will, and like a freeloading roommate, want it or not, eating all my food and certainly not paying any rent. That's very funny, number one. And I have to ask you, so how much did humor help you get through what you had to go through?
I use it. Humor is always a barometer initially for my sobriety in the ICU units to find, it's pretty chaotic. If anybody's been under or is heavily sedated, it's quite a scary place. You don't have any control of anything. You're kind of victimized to how many drugs you have in your body. And I don't like that. I never liked pain medication. So I would use humor to be a barometer of how messed up I was or how sober I was, and because it takes, timing, right? As you know, and you have to land it. You got to land it, the joke, right? And read the room, right? So it just takes all these sort of cognitive dissonance to really figure out if you're there or not, or am I just floating in this weird space? Because I needed to. That's why I tried to break out of the hospital so many times. I just wanted to go home. I wanted to go home and get better. I went to the hospital to not die. Great. I didn't do that. Then now I can go home to heal. So I kept trying to break out. So, which wasn't the wisest thing. But at any rate, so then also in the recovery process, or in the moment of when I was dying, a sense of humor is always a great sort of antithesis to fear or being scared about something or not knowing something. I would, I just always use humor somehow, some way to kind of like counterbalance something that's quite terrifying or quite painful. Like in recovery, it's pain, or quite terrifying when I was dying on the ice and trying to breathe. So humor is huge for counterbalancing some other powerful human emotion.
So it was really a tool that you brought out.
Absolutely, an absolute cognitive tool to counterbalance something.
So you also said, and look, I pulled stuff that I really loved. Actually, I'd love to have a long conversation with you about how you tried to escape from the hospital. I feel like, there's maybe a movie in that. But, come on, we'd all go see it, right?
Yeah.
And it would make more money than War of the Worlds. You said, when you really know what you're focused on, you can manifest what you truly want in your life. Yeah. The trick is to get out of your own damn way. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. That's his perspectives. Like life is really quite a perspective, and we have control of our perspective. I kept trying to demonstrate different perspectives coming from life and death and reality and surreality and all these things, but our perspective is the only thing we have control of. And in perpetuity, unless we go mad, and hopefully we don't go mad or get dementia and these type of things, but if we have our mind on, our head on, we can control how wonderful our day is and manifest what we want in our lives and in our future. There's such a micro sort of blinders on kind of perspective that we get. We got to go to school, go to a job, get in my car, get better grades, all these things that we're kind of programmed to go do, which I guess are important, but when we zoom out a bit from that, let's see the real reason for things, the real joy and happiness in our lives and where that comes from. It's not from an A, it's not from, getting a raise, it's not from making a lot of money. Money doesn't really give you much besides maybe some more choices. That's about it. I think that the perspective is for all of us to be able to manifest what we want is really to be clear about what we want. When we have clarity of our intention, we can then make manifest and take the actionable steps to then pretty much do it. And then in doing so, the universe sort of provides it for you as well. There's a collective of all of us that kind of help each other unknowingly. And that's why all I do, like I have nothing to take from anybody. I only have something to contribute. Like nothing I need, especially at this point. And it's a really wonderful place to be.
Well, were you, before you had your perspective changed by this incredible traumatic event, were you getting in your own way?
Yeah. There's a lot of things I gave credence to that I really didn't need to. That created stresses, sucked a lot of my time, vampired my energy away from those that I should have been giving it to. And not that I was doing bad things, it was just I gave too much credence to things that didn't have that much value. Or the value that it did have, I gave too much of a high price to. It should have been much, much cheaper of a cost of my time, because time is our only currency. And that is only a human construct, right? Time doesn't exist when we're dead, man. That's only what humans deal with. So how we share our time, what we do with our time is in our control, and that should be high priority for people. And I know when we're in struggle, and I grew up poor, and I grew up looking for my next meal and my next thing, I grew up broke till I was like 38. And that's fine. I'm glad I'm not anymore, but so I understand what it was like to be poor and to, eating on $5 a month,
Right.
But I think where I spent my time is with quality people. And I think I find the richness in my life with the shared experiences with really quality people in my life. Even if there's bad experiences, I was glad I'd had that with someone I love than do something alone or with people that are a little kind of not such great people. Right? So, I think I'm happy to have those riches of my time spent with loved ones.
Well, it's funny because one of the things that I think is most true about Hollywood is who you work with is as important as what you work on. And, look, I've worked for some of the most difficult, awful people in the universe in Hollywood. I've worked for some
that happens in
Hollywood
too.
Yeah. Who can you think of, like kind of going back across your career, actors, directors, writers, who you would qualify as, wow, that was a really great experience. I really took something positive away from that, and it changed me in a way that made me a better person, a better artist.
Well, I've been pretty lucky, and either I've avoided the bad people, or more likely, I am attracted towards the good people. It's a choice I make, right? I walk away from negative situations, and I'm guided towards the good stuff, or at least try to. So I've always had great experiences. I think the best thing about doing like the Marvel universe was, the movies are great and the reach to the audience is great. It's a good fantasy and all that world's great, but it's the people that I got to work with time and time again. And we spent a decade and a half together, And so we've been through marriages and divorces and kids and being single and all the different things, you know, it's like a family. And as an actor, that's not something that's very common unless you're on like a long running TV show or something. You're not working with the same people all the time. So what a great blessing that was to have, you know, especially the original 6 Avengers. They're all such dear, dear, dear friends of mine. And the greatest takeaway from that is that. And I found there's a lot of people, I get of the Mayor of Kingstown, that's now a longer running show in our 4th season. And, you know, that's where I get to work with writers and spend time with the writers, and I'm bringing them back season after season because they understand the character, and it's a wonderful dance. And I think it's an honor, and it's smooth when things are, it's always complicated, right? We always know there's always problems in writing something, and
there's always blood
I'll
on the
poke
page.
holes in your damn story. I'm like, this is bullshit. Why would my character do this? Sorry. Kids,
Sorry, now I'm having a PTSD flashback. I'm gonna need a minute.
But yeah, I just found myself pretty blessed. I think that's why I've been blessed also with a lot of, you know, great shows and great movies I've been able to do. We work together, right? There's no one person that has value. If I'm number 1 on the call sheet, doesn't really mean much. I'm just the vehicle to help tell the writer's story, and the director having to kind of put it all together. So then I'm an audience member, like any of you guys are. We got to make it good for them. And that doesn't matter what I think. So I think when everybody has that attitude, things turn out great. And I feel pretty lucky to have a lot of great things under my belt, you know? I'm lucky for that.
Well, that's a pretty good segue into something else that really jumped out at me. And it's funny because it kind of reminds me a little bit of Ian Forster in Howard's End. That there's this, it's an aphorism that I think is mostly associated with him. Only connect. And you say something really interesting about connection. You say the only thing that matters in life is love. Love here on earth is our only currency. It's our energy and our existence. We're always connected by love if we allow it to be so. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, it's exactly that. And there's the things that are in the way are the things that are very common, like fear and, you know, tons of things you can imagine what the obstacles are and what we give value to. Fear is a big control for the masses, right? But I think at the end of the day, you know, that's all that matters. And I know that resonates with so many people because it's the DNA of what we are, and our spirit, and even our bodies, even how we kind of operate in society. It all is all based upon that. And I just try to focus my attention and my energy on that, and not have it. It's a higher priority for me at this point, you know.
Yeah,
it's like really top of the list. And if it doesn't involve love or goodness or kindness or thoughtfulness, and like, okay, then why am I doing it?
Right.
So punt that thing, whatever it is, next thing, right?
The funny
There's
thing
certain
is you
requirements that I have to have, like whether it's a job or whether it's whatever it might be to still function in life. But now my family has to come along with me. My daughter has to be there with me, and or people I love have to be there with me. Otherwise, I'm not doing shit alone anymore. Stuff alone. Sorry, kiddies.
No. You know what? I mean, that's...
Sorry, I'm going to let a few slip. You got to give me a little...
I constantly have to be reminded that there are children in the audience, and I just remind those people that I'm a child on stage, so it's all good.
Yeah, I know.
So obviously, and that kind of answers one of my other questions that came out of that, which is, you know, has this experience affected how you select your roles?
Yeah, big time. Look, first of all, going back to Mayor a year after the incident, I wasn't physically ready. I thought I needed to get back out into the world. I couldn't just do recovery 24/7 like I was doing. I had to like do life stuff that was part of recovery. And I just think for my heart, my mind, and spirit, I needed to kind of get out and be with people. And so I pushed my way back in, but I didn't know if I was really ready because I'm like, wow, I have to go like learn these lines. These, bullshit words. Sorry again. Bull stuff words. I got a couple more. Anyway.
Well, you know, it's only one.
So fine, bullshit words. That's
bullshit. Yeah.
Anyway, and like, so there's some, you know, all this fiction stuff. And I was living a life in real reality. And having to sort of survive, really focusing on each step and each breath every day and stretch and do all these things just to like live like a kind of a normal semblance of a life. So then now I'm going back to work to learn all these words, and my capacity to do that was, I didn't know if I had it. But I had to challenge myself and had to do it. And it was a little tough at first, but I'm glad I did it because I had to get out of the real reality of my life because it's not everyone's existence. And I need to participate in life again with people. So I have to, I guess, learn, BS fiction words and like go learn, get back to work though. It's really important for me to do that. So now when I choose to do a job, I will not do it. I certainly try not to work out of the country. Or I did last year, I did this movie called Knives Out. It's coming out in December. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so awesome. I'm going to see it in September at Toronto Film Festival. I'll let you know how it is. I'm sure it's amazing. These guys are so good. Big ensemble cast. But I only did that because of the big ensemble cast, which means I'm not there every day. I don't have a big, heavy load of work to do. So I got to fly my entire family out, 15, 20 of them, to have an entire European vacation while I would work once in a while. I can join them wherever I could at the end of it. So it was just more a paid family vacation for my family because my mom's never been to Europe, my daughter, all these people, right? So we had a great time. And I got to do a movie on the side. So I kind of just, as long as my family or my daughter or even friends could be there with me to have a shared experience in this deal, then I'm down to do it. Otherwise, I'm not doing things alone any longer.
Does that bleed into how you interpret a script, how you interpret a role? Like when you connect with a character, because obviously it's easy to connect with and love the people around us who are great. Sometimes it's more difficult to connect with and love the people around us who aren't so great, who aren't so hot. And not every character is awesome. Some of them are fairly dark, scary people. Yeah.
Like I don't know. There's I wouldn't be playing Jeffrey Dahmer again, right? That's not a choice.
First of all, craft services on that.
Yeah. But there's certain, we grow older, and as an artist, I also grow as an artist in things that I've done, and there's things I haven't done, but maybe I don't need to do those. There's things that I think have to resonate with me somehow. Since being a father, I'm definitely more attracted to sort of, it's why Clint Barton became quite, the dad of the MCU. You know what I mean? That was a thing more of, you're right, that's his superpower, right? So, I think there's a lot of parts of me that bleed into the characters, and there's a framework. As you would write a character for me, I would probably insert some of, me into it. Some are farther away, like Wind River's very close to me, Sergeant James and Hurt Locker, those characters are very close to who I am as Jeremy. But, Dahmer, very far away. Some other ones are, Rival, that's a little farther away. But there's always some sort of version of me in a character, So I do look for probably like, anti-heroes, father type of heroes and things like that for jobs. But then I'm really not looking too hard, man. I'm enjoying life and reality, and I'll always work. Don't get me wrong. I'm not in doomsday, but we'll see. About the rest of the stuff, I got stuff I got to do.
The beauty of it is nobody knows if they're in doomsday. Any one of you could be in doomsday.
Anybody can be in that thing. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, the way that you talk about all of this, it sounds to me like your process is very internal when you get into a character. I read some of your interviews post Dahmer. I mean, that it really seemed to freak you out, even just doing that role. I mean, how internal is it for you? I mean, obviously there are actors who go all method and you can't even deal with them on set, but there are other actors who are still very internal, but they have boundaries.
Yeah, for me, it just depends on, I think, on the character, how close I am to it or not. I have to kind of be half in, half out. Like when I do Mike McCluskey, he's a very specific character, and he's also very far away from who I am in a lot of ways, but also very close to me. But I'm always, half in with Mike on set. He's a guy's tightly wound, and So I can't go off and like just be Jeremy and, play around with my daughter and stuff and then go back into like, smashing some person down, So for me, it's like, I'm kind of always half in, half out. And then I let it go when I'm off set.
Right. I mean, and that's a pretty good, setup for, I think the fourth quote and the last quote I want to bring to you. You said, and this one is just, it's almost difficult to read. I am better than I have ever been, happier and more fulfilled, and more deeply connected to those around me than I have ever known. All I had to do was die. And that's quite a paradox, and it's very moving,
Yeah, it is. It's also a joke. It's also kind of really funny,
Yeah.
I got everything I want in life, and all I had to do is die to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea. It's kind of why I wrote the book, so people don't have to. There's Easter eggs in there, and things.
You heard it here first, folks. If you read the book, you don't have to die.
You don't have to die. Yeah. You can really live. And that'll be different for everybody. It also don't have to be suffering and don't have to be going through giant obstacles in your life, right? But a lot of us do at different parts of our life. It's not insular to any specific time or age, race or color or creed, right? It's like, difficult times and obstacles will come to everyone. And how we manage those times, how quickly we overcome those times, the more times we will find joy and happy and love and depth, and there'll be better times because we get through the bad ones faster. We squeeze those times with love and suck the energy out of them and then move forward. It's I live by it every day. Still have to. The obstacles that I go through they're not big or small. There's just an obstacle and just move through it. It's real simple.
Has it changed your craft at all?
I don't know. Maybe for the worse. I don't know. I've always been quite, a thoughtful, person. I don't know. I think I've less. I don't want to say I have less care for my job because I love my job. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just older. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's made me better or worse. It's not made me worse, I guess. I just know I care about other things. I think the priority of my job is dropped down the totem pole. There's other things first, and then that kind of can exist, then it can also just go away.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It's your perspective.
Yeah.
changed.
It's still super, super value to me, right? But there has to be things that it's connected to. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it.
Well, certainly, it also sounds like one of those things was having a family. I mean, you have kids, and suddenly your whole brain changes, man, and you realize, this is truly the most important thing that I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. But that always has been the case. That I sort of semi-retired privately, just like to be a father. Like I couldn't do all the Mission Impossibles that I was supposed to do, like I wanted to do, because I love that character, and I talked to some of you guys about it. It's like I love that character so much, and I love Tom, and I love that franchise. But I think the last two movies that they just did, the 7 and 8, that took like 5.5, 6 years to do. And I'm like, that's 5.5, 6 years and me not seeing my daughter, and that's not happening. So
apparently they grow a lot.
Exactly. Like, I love Tom Cruise, but I love my daughter way more, man. You know what I mean? So that's all that happened. But there'll be other things that kind of open up now. Also, my daughter's older now. She's like 12, and she homeschools, so she can go with me anywhere. So it kind of opens back up now that she's a little older, that she can come. Like, she'll be on set with me for all of Mayor this next season.
Oh, that's
season
great.
5. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
She can see what you do, how you do it, and
Yeah,
watch you navigate.
for a lot longer period of time and not be stuck. So yeah, really, really excited about the future for myself and with my daughter.
So when you started writing the book, was it primarily therapy? Did you have a thought like, I'm going to publish it, or were you writing for yourself at that point?
No, it was very intended and purposeful to what I was doing, and I didn't want to, because I had to. Then we started off with just the chapter of putting people under the cat, like moment, just second by second, play by play, which is quite grueling. It was tough to kind of relive, But it was once I had an outline of it, then I can fill in the blanks, just like you would write a script, right? That helped. That helped, having a really great outline and working off that, and then talking it out, writing it down, all the things. It was a year-long process, but got through it. Yeah, so.
And it was with purpose.
Yeah. It was to get through it as fast as possible.
Right.
And then there's nothing fast about it, But it's also very therapeutic in doing it and talking about it. And every time I talk about it with people, I went around on a book tour, and there's so many different people I'm connecting with in a way. They're getting a ripple effect of that, A private incident that happened in my driveway between me and my nephew, that's insular and just for us. But news takes a hold of that and doesn't make it a private moment anymore.
Right.
And thank God, because there's so much to give in doing so. There's so much goodwill sent my way, even me being in a coma. There was so much I had to give back in a way. It was my duty, my responsibility, first and foremost, to get better for my family and for my daughter. And it was a great honor. Like, I wasn't going to lose. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm not going to disappoint them. I realized I can't complain about anything that happened to me, because look what I did to my family. That perspective, that key, got me through my next breath, got me through to take my next step. The faster I heal, the faster I'm healing my poor family. And then I realized there's a ripple effect beyond that, and beyond that, and beyond that, and beyond that. I'm still riding the waves of this ripple effect all around the planet. And because didn't just happen to me, right? It was something that we could all share in a way. And it has nothing even to do with an accident or even pain or recovery, or it's love, right?
Yeah.
That's something we all share. It's not mine.
So, the things we're talking about up here, I mean, I would argue that some of those themes, the resilience, the struggle, our relationship, with death, with struggle, with our families, with, identity relative to that. I mean, you see it through so many things that you've done. And I want to travel back in time a little bit to 2008 and the Hurt Locker. I'll tell you that 2008 was an interesting year. So 2008, I see The Hurt Locker because I get a screener. And I remember watching that movie, and my thought when I got done watching it was, oh, well, clearly this is going to win Best Picture. Like, I knew. I watched that movie, and I knew this is going to win Best Picture. And the scene that sold it to me was the scene where you go home.
Cereal.
And the cereal. You go to the grocery store and just can't function. Can you talk a little bit about getting into that role and the sort of the process of working on it? I also do a lot of work with vets, from Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, the movie seemed incredibly well researched, both in terms of, the script, how things were conveyed, your performance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. That was one of those very few, I don't know, it was just kind of like, a really good first date that turned into a great second date, and on, this great relationship between me and this character, me and Catherine Bigelow and Mark Bowl, the writer, and then the boys that joined on. But I was at Fort Irwin with our service boys and women, and learning how to, in this sort of like Santa's workshop, I called it. It's where they went to go build bombs, and then they rendered them safe. And I spent a year with them. I thought it was just going to be, Catherine just says, like, drove me out to this military base. And she's like, okay, talk to these guys and do this everything. And like, all right. And it was like a year later. But I spent a lot of time with them. And so I got to really understand the kind of rhyme and reason to do that job, and what the job was really about, and how the guy was written on paper was not like the guys that I had trained with. So it was very informative. It was great to have the luxury of time to share with people that do this for a living and to get a really good understanding. So the movie is basically all truths, and there's no real story to it. It's all characters just doing this like cryptic sort of job, right? So the characters were kind of driving the narrative. So it was good and imperative that I got to spend so much time with the people that really did it, and a great blessing and a great opportunity. I was so ready at the time in my career to have that opportunity. And I had killer people around me to help make that a really amazing film. It was great.
Did you know when you were making it, or did you feel like, I mean, forget the whole, like, did you know it was going to win Best Picture question?
No, man, we didn't think there was going to be a movie. By the end of the filming that thing, we thought like, well, maybe it's like a 6-episode sort of series, or no, we didn't know. Like, we were pretty tired and beat up after that movie, and we weren't sure what we had.
Right.
We thought it's probably like a mini series.
Right, and then all of a sudden,
and then the editor puts this thing together, and we got to see.
Editors, man,
we didn't see anything that we did along the way. We just kind of were out doing the job.
Okay. Well, let me share a little secret with you about 2008 and The Hurt Locker. So in 2008, people don't realize this. So Thor comes out in 2011. Originally supposed to come out in 2010, which I know, because in 2008. Marvel came to me and my writing partner, and they said, hey, we've got no time, and we're screwed, and we just got out of this writer's strike, and we desperately need this script for Thor. So we started writing. And one Sunday afternoon, on a whim, you guys think I'm kidding, but it's true. On a whim, I'm writing the scene where Thor goes to get the hammer, right? You know, you're big, I fought bigger. And I've got Coulson running around trying to figure out where Thor is. And I realize, you know what? He's probably got snipers positioned around. So I have him calling out to his guys, and suddenly it occurs to me, you know, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but do you know who's a sniper for S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Ultimates? Hawkeye. Yes, sir, you win the Cupid doll. And if I had one, I'd give it to you. So we just throw in a little line. Barton. You have eyes on him. We don't explain it. 2 days later, we go in for a script meeting with Kevin Feige, who's like, oh my God, you guys put Hawkeye in the movie. And we said, yes, we did. We also put Agent Coulson in the movie. And he said, oh my God. And he said, who do you think should play him? Now, this whole casting process obviously kind of took on a life of its own, but at the time, like that very weekend, my writing partner and I had both watched The Hurt Locker, and we had talked about how great it was. And my writing partner pops up, he goes, Jeremy Renner! And Kevin was like, oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, there was a little bit of a gap between 2008 and the beginning of the Avengers, but yeah, and there was even like for doing Thor. I mean,
because I didn't know it was that early, because it was around 10. I think The Hurt Locker was about to come out, didn't come out yet, and that's when I got a call from Kevin Feige and to go sit down and talk in Manhattan Beach or wherever the heck that was down there. Yeah, and they brought up to talk about Hawkeye. I mean, I guess sounds cool. I'm like, whatever, and. I was really busy at the time. So I'm like, all right, let's see what this is about. And then they told me about this thing, because I was a fan, because Iron Man was out, and I think they were in the process of filming Thor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm here because like Iron Man's awesome, right? The first Iron Man, I'm like, dude, this is so great. I thought, like, how they make this thing that's so like kind of phony, kind of really plausible. And, I buy this. And Downey was charming as all heck. And anyway, I loved it. Then they showed me the Ultimates version of Hawkeye, which I was kind of very relieved by, so I didn't have to wear this kind of purple skirt. And I know.
Don't we all?
Yeah, maybe. I'm too old for that now. Come on now. No one wants to see me in a skirt. Come on.
It's like, well, you know what you want as an archer? You want a mask that blocks your peripheral vision.
Yeah, I know. Okay. But I did go to this meeting, and they showed me the Ultimates version. I don't know much about the Marvel Universe. I saw Iron Man, cool as all heck. And then they showed me the Ultimates version of Hawkeye, which is just sort of like kind of what he is on the what you know. I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool. I can grab onto this character. They had nothing to show me, but they said, look, we got to get you in we have this little thing in Thor for you. I'm like, all right. So literally, by the time I got on set, we still had no idea what the heck I was doing. We had no idea what the character was or going. And I said, I don't know how you're going to get Fabio flying around the sky. How are you going to make that real?
Believe me, that was like 6 months of my life.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a joke, right? So anyway, so I get on, they cast me, and I go in to do the thing, and then they have it wrong. I said I'm left-handed. They got the wrong. A left-handed bow is actually for a right-hander. It's this whole mess of things. So I had to shoot wrong-handed on that show because they didn't have the right bow for me. It was a compound bow. Shouldn't have had that. Anyway, we figured it out as we went, but it was fun. I still had no idea what the character was, and just like nor did I don't think anybody else did, and it was great. Kind of, it was the first step into the Marvel universe, and it was chaotic then, and still is now.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Honestly, if I'd known then what I know now, I would have had you in the fight against the Destroyer. But at that point, I was just like, are we going to get away with this or not? So let's talk a little bit about the Avengers and the copious amount of time we have left. But mainly what I want to get your perspective on is, you do Thor, and that's fun, and you get into the Avengers, and that is honking huge. Like, at what point did you go, oh, look, I am now like in the middle, I'm standing, in this cultural footprint that I can't imagine.
Well, that was kind of the tough thing is like, Thor didn't really teach me anything about Hawkeye, right? And then I go to the first Avengers, and I get hypnotized by Loki.
As you do.
And the first dang scene.
In
so
fairness,
I still have no idea what I'm doing now to play a zombie version of Hawkeye that I don't know anything about yet. So I wasn't really learning anything about my character, what the value of this guy. So it wasn't until Ultron to where then I was really adamant about like not doing that movie because I had my daughter then. And anyway, that's when they sort of introduced Hawkeye as a dad. And this whole thing. So that really kind of was a turning point. And it wasn't until the third time I played Hawkeye that I could learn a bit about him. And that his real superpower was that he's the grounding rod for a bunch of kind of Fruit Loops, He's, right? He's like the everyman. He's the dad. He's like the uncle. He's like the reason why we avenge, right? It's what we protect. Right. So there's something quite beautiful about that. And we kind of leaned into that and as there's a lot of characters and a lot of story to be told in those Marvel universes, so it's hard to kind of dig out deeply into with Barton. You can sit in the background at some points, but I don't mind taking the back seat because I think he's the most badass character anyway. So
of course,
so I ain't worried about it.
Yeah. Well, look. In fairness to you, when my wife met Tom Hiddleston on set, she too was hypnotized by Loki. So it's a fairly common occurrence. Now watch me land this plane. So we started this whole conversation.
I'm gonna shoot that guy. Someday I'm gonna get him. Damn you, Loki!
Damn you, Hiddleston! We started this whole conversation talking about you being the dad of the Avengers. You just brought it up. I mean, in retrospect, kind of given everything that's happened, you look back on that entire insane period of your career. Is there anything left on the table for you as Hawkeye, or actually no, as Clint Barton, as the dad?
No, 100%. We already went through that creatively for the season 2 of Hawkeye, and liking where it was going, and how they're trying to integrate stuff with the new Avengers, and there's also West Coast Avengers. Hawkeye's a big part of that. But I think when Hawkeye has to be put in the right, don't put him in outer space, for God's sakes. It doesn't belong there.
Arrows don't work great.
It doesn't belong there, right? Yeah. Some red floating guy, the Red Skull guy. What is this? What's going on, right? So they got to put him in the right positions to where he can be a great team leader and great contributor. And, like Captain America has his own sort of world. Thor has his own world, and so does Hawkeye. And it's very grounded. And the new Avengers kind of has that. And so I think there's a lot. I think the audiences do like that as well. They like the sort of reality to things, or the surreality. We still have like, someone wore this T-shirt, so awesome. It was the Rogers musical T-shirt, right? I love the surreality of that. This Broadway show, the Avengers, and Hawkeye is just incredulously rolling his eyes and like haunted by this. But like, there's a great world. I love the first season of Hawkeye. That to me like is such a warm, fuzzy thing, and something that's repeatable to watch too. That I have on most other shows. I think because that's such a great Christmas sort of show, and it's
Yep.
I wouldn't watch any of the other Avengers stuff, but I've seen that a couple of times. We watch it kind of as a family. It's kind of fun. But yeah, I think there's a lot of legs left in that character. There's some great surprises that we have, but we'll see. We've got to work it out.
That's why they're called surprises.
And I gotta get in great shape for that again. Jeez, it's not easy.
Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for joining us. We are sadly out of time. People. Now, you may or may not know this, but it's a GalaxyCon.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
A massage chair might seem a bit extravagant, especially these days. 8 different settings, adjustable intensity, plus it's heated, and it just feels so good. Yes, a massage chair might seem a bit extravagant, but when it can come with a car, suddenly it seems quite practical. The all-new 2025 Volkswagen Tiguan, packed with premium features like available massaging front seats, it only feels extravagant.
You set the table, put on a playlist, even made the lasagna from scratch. And now you're wearing it. OxyClean Max Force Spray tackles tough, set-in stains the first time. Adulting is hard. Fighting stains shouldn't be. OxyClean Max Force. It's not clean unless it's OxyClean.
Yeah, that was great. I wish we could have been in San Jose, if only to see that terrific interview live. But what a great job you did, Ashley.
Thank you.
Indeed.
And if you want to experience more great interviews like Jeremy Renner, you want to join the Decksperts. Unfortunately, it's all 3 of us. It won't just be Ashley. You'll have to put up with it.
Unfortunately. That's fortunately.
Yeah,
that's
that's 3 times the fun.
No, fortunately, we'd have one more. Well, I guess, Dana Gould now is an honorary Deckspert, so kind of is 4. So you want to join us in Des Moines, September 12th to the 14th. That's in Iowa, home of Zombie Burger. I have a feeling we'll be revisiting that place again.
Hell yeah.
Don't stake out Zombie Burger waiting for us to show up, though. However, if you are a proprietor of Zombie Burger and want to, welcome us and give us some free food to thank us for all the nice things we said about your establishment on the podcast, we're open to it.
Bad form.
But I don't think so.
I don't think so.
By the way, I want to let you know, I have made the dinner reservations already for Des Moines.
Really?
So, yeah. We're all set. So we got some, because it was such a bad experience restaurant-wise when Ashley and I were there last year that I had to do a little more research to make sure that we were going to decent. I can't eat bad food.
Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you how awful that experience was overall, except for the Zombie Burger.
Yeah, except for Zombie Burger. We like the Zombie Burger. We like it even more if they want to welcome us with open arms. Okay.
That's right.
And I'll bring the bottled water, since clearly no one in Des Moines has bottled water. Okay, St. Louis, October 10th to October 12th. That's going to be fun. We are going to do our first convention in St. Louis. Great guests are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really thrilled about Milwaukee, Wisconsin, November 7th to the 9th. Got a couple of special guests joining us. Rich Dom is going to be coming for a very special 4:30 movie panel. And we're thrilled to have Rich Dom joining us. And then, of course, wrapping up the year, as we always do in Columbus, December 5th to the 7th, it's the Columbus Galaxy Con. And if you're already thinking about the Inglorious Tour 2026, Daren Dochterman will be aboard the Star Trek cruise, but apparently it's sold out. So
good luck. Well, if you're already attending, I'll see you there.
Well, who knows? Somebody maybe could drop out or something. Maybe they can't
go.
No.
You don't know.
Maybe they'll go to an alternate.
You don't
That's
know.
what happened with Survivor.
You never
Apparently
know.
2 people got booted off Survivor 49 because they talked before they hit the island. And they both got
look at that.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Oh, you know what I watched yesterday? When I was sick?
1999.
Yes, that's true. I also watched the new season of this awful show on Amazon. I hated the first season, but I'm really enjoying the second season, Road to a Million. This is where you go on James Bond adventures and can win $1 million. And Brian Cox is the controller. And I got through a half an episode last season, but the second season is a little bit better. And it has these crazy feature film production values, which they're putting into a reality show, which makes no sense. But it has Bond music and they go to James Bond Island from Man with the Golden Gun. It's I'm kind of interested. I'm kind of going to stick with it a while longer.
They know how to press your buttons, don't they, Mark?
Yeah, well, Bruce Fierstein worked on it, and I guess he was interviewed recently for the Spy Hards. I haven't listened to it
Bruce
yet.
Fierstein. Wrong Fierstein.
No, Fierstein, not Fierstein. Fierstein.
The
exact opposite.
I just want to be loved.
And,
that's so wrong.
And he's Bruce Fierstein is a really interesting guy. He wrote the Real Men Don't Eat Quiche book back in '82, and wrote GoldenEye and Tomorrow Never Dies and The World's Not Enough. And he's a really interesting guy. And I guess they brought him in to do work on the scripts for this Road to a Million. So anyway, neither here nor there.
The next James Bond movie is called Tomorrow Is Never Enough.
Did you talk about? We didn't talk about Bourne, but of course, Jeremy Renner did Bourne Legacy when and which is a better film than people give it credit for.
Agree.
Yeah. Okay. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. The Deck 78 I think it's closing. I think that
look, they're washing glasses.
They want us
putting
out.
Things away. They want us out. They're putting up chairs
on the tables.
Damn you.
It's
we're about to get trespassed by the cops.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, so that means only one thing. We'll be back in 2 weeks with an all-new Deck 78. You can hear these episodes in advance if you subscribe to TrexpertsPlus.com. And, of course, we're entering a new season on Inglorious Treksperts, entering our 8th season, which is extraordinary. It's extraordinary. But we'll be back. And until then, on behalf of Ashley Miller, Daren Dochterman, and myself, Mark A. Altman, fire the rockets.
Deck 78 is an exclusive podcast from Treksperts Plus.